that Donald Trump's approval rating was just 36%, the lowest recorded approval rating in polling history. This is why they fled the zone. So you don't hear stories like this. So things just quietly erode until one day we all wake up wondering where X, Y, or Z went. This is why it's important to understand that the mainstream media is going to start losing access to important data and information. And this is exactly why you need to follow creators and independent journalists, not just me, but anyone that you build a connection and feel trust towards, because we're going to be the ones that are on the front lines here.
This is wild. Now, this is when I was like, we're in something right now. Y'all need to know. This is, again, knowledge is power. What you do with it is your power. What you do with the knowledge. Gallup, the Gallup polls. Now, you know, I say polls are for strippers. That's been my thing the last 11 years. I've been saying polls are for strippers. I don't really get into polls. But the Gallup poll has been reliable, a reliable weather vane for where this country is, where the wind is blowing as it relates to presidents. And the approval ratings have actually been pretty accurate. After 98 years, Roderick Morrow, Gallup will no longer, matter of fact, play the clips, Ms.
This is exactly why they fled the zone. Because if you missed this incredibly important story yesterday, February 11th, 2026, so did I. Because I was focused on what was going on Capitol Hill with Pam Bondi, as well as the chaos in El Paso around whether or not that airspace needed to be closed. See, yesterday, after nearly 90 years, Gallup, who is the public opinion polling agency responsible for the presidential approval rating, decided suddenly that they were just going to stop reporting on presidential approval ratings. After nearly 90 years. To give you kind of a concept of how serious that is, this has been the tried and true measure of public opinion on the U.S. president since Harry Truman was in office. And when asked yesterday why they were going to suddenly stop reporting on the favorability of political figures, Gallup's spokesperson said, quote, "Our commitment is to long-term methodological sound research on issues and conditions that shape people's lives. That work will continue through the Gallup Poll Social Series, the Gallup Quarterly Business Review, the World Poll, and our portfolio of U.S. and global research." They offered no explanation. And this is on the tails of December 2025, which, by the way, revealed via the Gallup presidential approval rating that Donald Trump's approval rating was just 36%, the lowest recorded approval rating in polling history. This is why they fled the zone. So you don't hear stories like this. So things just quietly erode until one day we all wake up wondering where X, Y, or Z went. This is why it's important to understand that the mainstream media is going to start losing access to important data and information. And this is exactly why you need to follow creators and independent journalists, not just me, but anyone that you build a connection and feel trust towards, because we're going to be the ones that are on the front lines here.
Yes. Yeah. So follow us on Urban View. Go to our YouTube channel, which is growing. And thank y'all for subscribing. Go to Karen Hunter's show on YouTube. Subscribe to Larry Daniel Favors on YouTube. Subscribe to the Clay Kane Show on YouTube. Subscribe to the Black Guy Who Tips. The Black Guy Who Tips on Patreon. Like, we're going to have to find your person and your people to get informed. But the lowest ever, which tells you that everybody, who are the 36% of the people, any of y'all listening who like this, man, who are happy with them? 866-801. You're among the 36% that said, yes, more of this. Call us. I'm curious. What exactly do you like about it? This is amazing. It's amazing we live in the country.
It feels a little too like they're trying to do the, like maybe they want to avoid the ire of Trump, because a lot of these news organizations, the AP, the people whose work is to make sure that we all understand truth, facts, what is happening, evidence, people that use the journalistic standards, they're under attack, and if they can't get you through buying you, shout out to Paramount, shout out to CBS, if they can't get you through just buying you flat out, like the Washington Post or whatever, then they go to the other method, which is we'll just intimidate you. And you just don't want to get on our radar. And so something is, to me, it's annoying.
Yeah.
But it is, like I don't even presidential favoritism poll. I don't care, but it is
Right.
interesting. It is of note. The time you decided to stop wasn't say when Biden's favorability was tanking because people were like, he old, Look at his old, he old, he gonna die. It's like, well, y'all could have stopped in and been like, listen, this is getting out of control. We just want to do evidentiary, blah blah. No, you waited till it was Trump, who was the worst ever. And when the reality and the facts were starting to be like, people don't like this guy, right? Like it's like this book, the opinion poll starts to become a fact. I'm not saying it is a fact, but it starts to become a fact of like, this is the least likable dude ever. He just gonna hold on to his MAGA percentage, and none of us like him. And now you're like, well, we don't gotta. Do we really need to keep reporting that? I mean, come on, guys. Because I think part of them is afraid of losing whatever access, funding. A lot of this stuff is intertwined. But yeah, that's what I think they're afraid of.
Well, John, without an H, John Clifton is the CEO of Gallup. I wonder what his political affiliation is. I wonder how he leans. Well, we could do some research. 866.
Yeah, you never, because like that's a real thing. Karen, is like they'll go from the top down on some of these. Like some of it is the AP catching hell and having to fight in court, but some of it is just a quiet. Oh, so and so merged with so and so, and this was acquired, and oh, Barry Weiss is in charge of the news now. Damn, they'll be killing all the 60 Minutes pieces on Trump. Like, oh, that was a slick. How y'all slid that in there, and now we don't have this wing of tent pole of America, the media and journalism. Now we don't have it over there.
We're prepared. Do not give in to fear. We are fearless. This is not the time to be afraid. This is a time to stand up and fight back and to resist any temptation for them to divide us. We're in this together. The rule of law is on our side. We will not give in, not give up. We will not capitulate. We will not bow. We will not bend. We will